guys, today we got me and King Macar going over his deck tech. 4 mana human. It's a 2/3 with Inspired. Whenever King Macar, the gold curse becomes untapped, you may exile target creature. If you do, put a colorless artifact token with name gold on the battlefield that it has. Sack this artifact. Add 1 mana of any color to your pool. So that's going to be one of these boys here. You don't even have to tap it, which could matter down the road here. So we will keep this guy over here and go on to the mana rocks. There are tons of ramp in this deck. We got Hedron Archive, Spring Leaf Drum, which lets you tap one of your creatures for mana. Obviously, you're going to want to tap King Macar. Thran Dynamo, Worn Power Stone, Mind Stone, Dark Ritual for maybe turn 2 King Macar, Foundry Inspector to give your artifacts a little discount, and let's see, we will move on to Basalt Monolith here, add 3 mana, any color, that definitely does go infinite here. In some combo, we can go over that later. Bubbling Monk, 1 black until end of turn. All of your swamps tap for an additional. Good old Solemn Simulacrum. Manifold Key is pay 1, tap to untap another artifact. This is just a little bit of ramp here, get some mana. Or you'll see later there's going to be ways to make King Macar an artifact himself. You could also make it where you could pay 3 and it can't be blocked this turn just to get him tapped as well. Gilded Lotus, Jorbus Familiar gives a discount to your historic spells. Cage Sun, you're going to choose black and your creature's going to get +1/+1. And it's going to make your land set for 2. Good old Burnish Heart. Charcoal Diamond. Crypt Ghast. Makes your land tap for 2. And we have Voltaic Key. Pay 1 and untap target artifact. That was going to come in handy. And Paradise Mantle has equip creature. Pay 1 to cost 0. Pay 1 to equip it. And it's going to tap that creature for mana, which obviously you're going to want King Macar to do. I don't have a crazy amount of card draw in this deck. We're going to go over it though really quick, which is Succumb to Temptation. I like this just because it's instant speed. I'm starting to use this card a little bit more. Not too bad. Not too bad. You lose 2 life, draw 2 cards, instant speed. Siphon Mine, great value, 4 mana. Each other player discards a card, you draw a card for each card discarded that way. So 4 mana, each player discards a card, you draw 3. Pretty damn good. Read the Bones, scry 2, draw 2, lose 2. And then good old Greed, just because I will play this in every mono black deck. Pay 2 life, draw 8, and a black to draw a card. Now we're going to go over the ways to either turn him into an artifact or just do a bunch of tap and untap shenanigans. Silverskin Armor has equipped creature becomes an artifact in addition. Liquid Metal Coating has tap it, tap target permanent become artifact until end of turn, which would help with King Macar. This is a mana rock for 2 mana, taps for colorless, or target non-permanent becomes an artifact until end of turn. Phyrexian Scriptures, 4 mana saga. Put a plus counter on up to 1 target creature. That creature becomes an artifact in addition to its other types. The second one, destroy all non-fact creatures, and then exile all creatures from all opponents' graveyards. Really good. Really good in here. This is one here. Magus of the Coffers, 5 mana. You can pay 2 and tap it to add black equal to each swamp you control. If you can get this with the Sword of the Prunes I showed earlier, that does usually get infinite mana quite easily. Clock of Omens, 4 mana. Tap 2 artifacts to untap a artifact. Puppet Strings, 3 mana artifact. Pay 2 to tap or untap target creature. Honor Worn Shaku, 3 mana. You could tap it for 1 mana for a colorless, and then tap an untapped legendary permanent you control to untap this, which is great. You just play it for 3, tap it for a mana, tap King Macar, untap it, tap it again. Now you got 2 floating. It's just great. I love it. Umbra Mantle, 3 mana, equip 0. Equip creature has actually untap. This creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. So you're going to untap King Macar in that way. At the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact, which, like I said, if you could say tap King Macar during your turn, and then have something like this. You make him an artifact until end of turn. Your end step, you're gonna put the triggers where you're gonna be untapping King Macar. Those in your elixir, you may activate abilities of creatures you control as though those creatures had haste. Pay 1 and tap it to untap target creature. Icy Manipulator, pay 1, tap it to tap target artifact, creature, or land. That helps for tapping my guys. Or, if there's any problems I'm going against. Staff of Domination, pay 1 to untap the staff, pay 2 to tap it and gain a life, pay 3 to tap it to untap a creature, 4 to tap it and tap a creature, 5 to tap it and draw a card. It's 3 mana. Jandor Saddlebags, 2-mana artifact, pay 3 and tap it to untap target creature. And then now we're getting into the We're going to the vehicle part now. We got some vehicles up in here. One of them is a Renegade Freighter. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1/+1 and trample until end of turn. Crew 2, which means with King Macar having 2 power there, you're going to crew King Macar and tap him to turn this into a creature. And the thing is, if you make this deck, which is super cool, nobody realizes it. The end step right before yours, just crew him up. Nobody will ever expect it. And then next thing they know, you're untapping now. Next thing they know, you are untapping with a Macar. Unwinding Clock, because there's going to be a bunch of shenanigans. Sword of the Prune. As long as equipped creature is tapped, tapped creatures you control get +1/+2/0 as long as equipped creature is untapped. Untapped creatures you control get +0/+2. Equip 3, pay 3, you may tap or untap target equipped creature, which is obviously good with what I just said, the Unwinding Clock. Ebony Horse, 3-mana artifact, pay 2. Remove one of your attacking creatures from combat, treat it as it would never attack, just to get a swing in, and then untap it. Okay, I'm going over the last 2 vehicles. There's only a couple. You could put as many as you like, but these are just the ones that I like. Smuggler's Copter we got here. 2-mana, 3/3 flyer. Whenever it attacks or blocks, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card, and you can crew King Macar up with that to get him tapped. 3-mana Mobile Garrison, 3/4 vehicle. Whenever it attacks, tap or untap another artifact or creature you control, which is obviously amazing too, because you're gonna crew King Macar. So you get this guy out. You're gonna crew King Macar, make it a creature, attack with it, attack trigger on the stack, untap King Macar to then exile something, make a gold, and then at that point you're gonna get in for free with this thing that's a 3, and then you still have a untapped creature. Pretty great, pretty great. So those are all of the vehicles thus far. Now we are going to go over ways to protect and just hold people off on us. Koskun Falls is one of my old school favorites. It is a reserve list card, but 4 mana for an enchantment during your upkeep. Tap target creature. Tap target untapped creature you control or bury Koskun Falls. No creature can attack you unless they pay 2 for each creature attacking. Crawl Space. No more than 2 creatures can attack you each combat. Unhallowed Pact. Enchant creature. Whenever it dies, it returns to the battlefield under your turn to protect them. This one's even better. Instant speed until end of turn. Target creature gets +2/+0 engaged. When this creature dies, return it to the battlefield tapped under your control. Minions return. 3-mana flash enchant creature. Whenever it dies, you return it to your control. In Garruk's Wake, just a good board wipe. Destroy all creatures and planeswalkers you don't control. Archfiend of Depravity, 5 mana at the beginning of each opponent's end step. That player chooses up to 2 creatures they control and sack the rest just for some more board control, because that's what it does. Royal Assassin is... Let's see, these are the 2 here that are going to do the work for you if King Macar is just costing too much at the moment. It's usually never going to happen, but these are just extra ways to get it going. You have the Royal Assassin, 3 mana, destroy any tapped target creature, so you can do your shenanigans to get a creature tapped if need be, and then just untap and tap this guy around. And then this one, it costs 6 less to play if there's 10 or more creatures, so then it would cost 2 mana. Can't be blocked by except for artifact creatures and our black creatures. You could tap up to destroy target creature, and it can't be regenerated. So you're going to be doing that with those 2 if King Macar, if there's something wrong with them. Lux Cannon is very great with the Unwinding Clock. You can put a charge counter on it by tapping it, and you could tap it to remove 3 charge counters to destroy target permanent. Something like an Unwinding Clock, you are destroying everything quickly. Mutilate, all creatures get -1/-1 until end of turn for each swamp you control. And then a good old counter spell. That's right, you heard that right. Mono black, Withering Boon, black and a colorless. Interrupt, pay 3 counter target summon spell, which in turn just means a creature, really. Okay, so now we can go over just the regular good cards of the deck. You know, these aren't really synergy based, these are just great cards. Runescar Demon for a tutor when it ETBs. I could probably replace that with something a little bit better, like a Sidisi or something, but we'll see what happens with that. Strionic Resonator, pay 2 to copy it, so you can copy that gold ability there and exiling another creature. Mirror Retriever here obviously gets you some recursion. When it dies, you put another artifact from the graveyard to your hand. Diabolic Tutor, just because, you know, it's cards. This deck's not a super expensive deck, so we're doing the cheaper tutor there. Scrap Trawler, whenever it or another artifact, whenever Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put in the battlefield, put in the graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand. Target artifact with lesser CMC. Resourceful Return, I love this one. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. If you control an artifact, draw a card. So good. Such a great underrated card. Shadow Sphere to help us get around those hexproof and indestructibles. I get the gods all the time with this, and it feels great. More recursion here with when this dies, you get another artifact from your graveyard to your hand. Choose one or both. Return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand and creature. So you can get an artifact and a creature with 3 mana for Fortuitous Find. Macrobee Waltz. Get 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand, then discard a card for 2 mana. And then Diabolic Revelations, we have so much mana ramp. Search your library for X cards, so it's 5 and then X. But there's times you could have 10 mana in this deck, you know what I mean? So, I mean, 5 and X, what, you're going to tutor for 5 cards, you know what I mean? So, you really never have any problems with that. Now, before the lands, we're just going to go over the win cons now, actually, like the best cards on the deck. One of them has to be this here. Is 1/3 Marionette Master for 6 mana. It has Fabricate 3. When this creature enters the battlefield, you put 3 +1/+1 counters on it, or create 3 servo creature tokens. You're going to be putting the counters on it to make it a 4/6, and whenever an artifact you control is put in a graveyard from the battlefield, you're going to have target player lose a life equal to its power. So every time an artifact would leave, which would be the gold when you sack it, every time you would sack one of those golds, you're going to have somebody lose 4 life from the Marionette Master. Tree of Perdition, obviously it's a tap and untap deck, so you have some shenanigans you could do with that, bringing it back even to from the graveyard, just to get its life different. And then when you get stuff like Infinite Mana, you have all 3 of these here. You could do classic Torments of Hailfire, but I just do these instead. Consume Spirit, black 1 and X, spend only black mana on X. Consume Spirit deals X damage to target creature or player. You gain X life. Exsanguinate, each opponent loses X, you gain X, where X is the life. And then Infinite Mana with Walking Ballista is the main win con of the deck. It enters with X counters on it. Pay 4 to put a +1/+1 counter on it, remove a counter, yada yada yada. You know how that goes. But like I said, you just put Infinite Mana into that, and that is going to be the win con of the deck. I don't know how many of the lands that you want to see. We're going to be having, let's see, not a whole lot of non-basics. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we have 32, no, we have 28 basics. And we have survived. These are the best ones here at the top. The top 2 I'll show you up front here is Survivor's Encampment. Pay 1 to tap it for a colorless, or pay and tap an untap creature you control to gain 1 mana of any color. And Maze of Ith, untap target attacking creature, prevent all combat damage done, so you can get in there, swing with King Macar, and then use the Maze of Ith on him himself to untap him right away. Bottomless Vault enters tapped. You could choose not to untap it. If you do, you put a storage counter on it just to save up some mana there. Even Stronghold enters tapped, but when it comes untapped, you can sack it to add 2 black to your mana pool. That's just an artifact land that will untap more, obviously. Temple of the False God. Vault of Whispers is a black artifact land. Detection Tower gets rid of hexproof from creatures till end of turn, and then Cabal Stronghold, you could pay 3 to put black into it. Of course, I could obviously have Cabal Coffers, and I can obviously have Cabal Coffers and I can obviously have Cabal Coffers and Urborg in here. I don't. It's just not that deck. You know, it is not expensive enough to do that. It's just a fun deck, but it's very powerful for what it is. I think you would definitely be surprised to pilot this deck. It'd be a blast for you. So give it a shot. Leave a comment if you liked the video. Like and subscribe goes a long way. If you have any questions for the deck or suggestions, go engage yourself in the comments, and I definitely will comment back. Take care, y'all. Have a great night.